Hello, hello. I think we're live. Looks like it. Yes, I see ticking, moving. Hi, everybody. I see somebody has joined. Say hi in the chat if you would. I'm pulling up the chat. Show me where you are joining from. Looks like YouTube. Excellent. In case you didn't know, I go live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn simultaneously. Fun facts. Anyway, today I want to talk about how scaling your impact doesn't mean working harder. It means working differently. So I want to show you how redesigning who owns what lets you grow without burning out, because you can't actually scale yourself. You can optimize things a bit, but you scale through others and systems and processes as well. And scaling is about getting more done per amount of effort that goes in. So in today, when we talk about scaling, we are talking about true scaling, but we are also talking about growth. So we can grow. Grow just means more work goes in and more work coming out. So we can get more complete to a certain level just by growing, but then we need to go beyond growth if we really want to make a big impact and enter the realm of scale, which means getting more results for the same amount of work, or doing less work to get the same amount of results, depending on what you would like to see happen in your life. Okay, so, and in case you don't know me, I'm Sarah Olivieri, and I love helping visionary leaders make that bigger impact by building aligned teams and delegating their outcomes. And that is the key to scaling without overworking. We want to delegate outcomes, not tasks. Now, within our organizations or our businesses, tasks will still be delegated. But as the leader, as the visionary leader, you want to be focused on delegating outcomes as opposed to delegating tasks. If you're delegating tasks primarily or only, you are very much an operator in your business rather than a leader of the future of your business. So this is the key, delegating outcomes to sustainable and scalable growth. And in order to do this, I'm going to give you a high-level mini lesson today. And if you want to deep dive into it more, let me know. Maybe I'll develop a full webinar, or we can chat one-on-one and do it together. So we need to redesign ownership. We need to redesign the roles, or how we think about roles in our organization, in order to expand capacity across our team, expand capacity geometrically if we want to scale, so that everybody's getting more results for the same amount of work or even less work. The bigger your mission, the more bold your vision, the more you must share the load. Okay, this is really, really important. So you can't scale yourself, right? So we have to scale through others. So I just want to give you a quick rundown of what I mean by this different way of thinking about leadership and our team. So first, it means shifting from thinking about the traditional org chart of who's in charge of who, because that's actually not super scalable. It's also not that fun. From who's in charge of who to who's in charge of which outcomes. And in order to do that, we need to kind of clarify what are the key outcomes that our organization or business needs to achieve. Now, lucky for you, most organizations need the same key outcomes or businesses. And I'm going to break it down for you high level right now. So we need key outcomes around where we're going, the future, visioning, innovation, whatever you want to call it. It's the outcome of figuring out and knowing and deciding what the future destination will be. Then we have this very important second outcome role of deciding when and how we will go there. And if you're a follower of EOS or the book Traction, you know this role as the integrator. But I don't love that when they're talking about accountability, they gave that role a very like tactical doing label rather than an outcome oriented label. So I like to call the integrator instead the optimum speed and capacity. The person, and the person can have multiple roles, right? But the role that's about being accountable for moving at the optimum speed and capacity. So the other role of visioning and innovation is about where we're going. This is about when we're going, how we're going there, how fast we're going there, right? And when we're small organizations, the founder or the CEO is usually wearing both these hats, but it's really tricky to disagree with yourself, especially when you're a visionary, because you're like, I want to go there right now as fast as possible. Most of your team are not going to feel that way. And you need a second person who you're highly aligned with, has clarity about how and when, and how fast, who will say to you as the visionary, not so fast, Sarah, right? We'll go there, but this is how we're going to do it. And this is when we're going to do it. Okay. So those are the highest level. And the hierarchy here is which decisions impact all the other decisions below, or I like to think of it behind it, because I like to think of organizations or businesses as like chariots riding on a road, right? So where we're going overall obviously impacts all other decisions. How we're going, how quickly we're going, that also impacts all other decisions. Then we have outcomes around optimizing our resources. So within this category of optimizing our resources might be our team, right? How can we optimize having the right team? Who's on our team? I have a little bit to say about that in regards to this set of roles. We also might have optimizing our physical resources. If we own buildings, it might be our financial resources, how we use our money, how we track our money, how we plan to use money, what kind of ROIs are we getting, return on investments. And we have tons of digital resources, right? Our resources around software that we're using, or online services, all that stuff. And then we have, if you're a for-profit, you have your offers, right? And your marketing. And so this is like who you're serving and how you're serving them. And you might have multiple ways that you serve them and the specific goals that you're trying to achieve for your clients. And if you're a nonprofit, you have an extra category here because you always have like a second type of service business, which is your donors or your funding sources, right? So that's like having the most scalable return on investment supporters out there. Topic for another day about how to do that well, but that's in your blueprint as well if you're a nonprofit here. Okay, so once we have this blueprint in place, and if you want a downloadable copy, maybe I'll give it to you. You're going to have to reach out to me one-on-one. I don't have an easy way to give it to you right now. Maybe I do, actually. If you go to pivotground.com, click on the resources tab, and go to the training Beyond Hiring, Effective Strategies for Expanding Your Team. It is available for the low price of $27. You can access that. The direct URL is pivotground.com/staff up. So that is probably the way you can get it most easily from me. Okay. So when we think about this new type of leadership, which is about accountability for outcomes instead of accountability for people, exactly, right? We're not going to try to control people. We're going to try to control outcomes. We end up with two types of roles. And I'm going to blank on her name. The woman who taught this to me, the heads roles and the hands roles. So our heads roles own the outcomes, and the hands roles help achieve the work, right? They're the ones doing the tasks. Now, as a person, let's call me, I'll be the person, Sarah Olivieri. I can own multiple heads roles and multiple hands roles. But if I own heads roles and hands roles, the heads roles are my priority. So if I get too busy making decisions around achieving outcomes, then I need to tell whoever owns the outcomes related to those hands roles that, sorry, I'm too busy. They're going to need to find somebody else. Okay. So that is the framework we need to adopt. And it's like both this simple framework and this massive paradigm shift from who's in charge of who. How can we control the people on our team to how can we get our team controlling the outcomes that move our organization or business forward? And when we shift to that, then we start getting the ability to massively grow and massively scale our vision. All that in just 11 minutes. It's such a pleasure to be here with you every week. I love supporting you in your work, and I'm so grateful for the time that you spend with me. And I know my work is well done. I was just on a coaching call with my clients earlier, and I gave them the answer to their question. They were like, oh, that's exactly what I told my board member I thought Sarah would say. And I was just reflecting on how I so feel like my work is well done when my clients start giving themselves my coaching without me there. I feel such a sense of accomplishment and to be honored to be in all of your heads, like I know for some of you I am, and to hold that very special place in your brain. So thank you for sharing your brains with me, and I will see you next time.